Tucker Carlson's big announcement, which has amassed over 100 million views, and the gross but familiar background of the assault case against Donald Trump. It's May 11th, and you're watching The Breakdown.
Are you ready? Are you ready? Can I talk?
Yeah, what's the answer?
Do you mind?
I would like for you to answer the question.
Okay, it's very simple to answer.
That's why I asked it.
It's very simple you're a nasty person, I'll tell you.
That was President Trump at the CNN town hall last night. Maybe we should call it the clown hall, given Caitlin Collins' performance. It was one of my favorite moments of the night. And that right there is a major reason that he won in 2016. I'll be spending more time talking about his performance at the CNN town hall tomorrow, Friday the 12th, on Live with Mike live stream. I sure hope you'll be joining us for that. Before we get started, if you get to the end of this video and you find that it's informative and entertaining, please consider subscribing to the channel with the subscribe button below and be sure to click the notification bell. We are just so very close to 1 million subscribers on the channel. I'd love for you to be one of them. Now for the news of the day. First off, a quick update on an important story from this week. While we still don't know the details of why Tucker Carlson is no longer at Fox or whether his contract allows him to go elsewhere, his attorneys are taking the position that it does allow him. And so on Tuesday, Carlson announced that despite staggering offers from other broadcast outlets, he plans to go independent and start doing his show on Twitter.
Starting soon, we'll be bringing a new version of the show we've been doing for the last 6.5 years to Twitter. We'll be bringing some other things too, which we'll tell you about. But for now, we're just grateful to be here. Free speech is the main right that you have. Without it, you have no others. See you soon.
Now, this, of course, led some leftists to claim that Elon Musk must have made a deal with him, and Twitter is now a, quote, right-wing platform, end quote. Well, Musk issued a statement denying any deals with Carlson and saying that anyone, left or right, is free to use Twitter and that everyone may interact, critique, and refute whatever is said. Well, on to our main story today. As you know, President Trump was found liable in a Manhattan court for 1 count each of battery and defamation in the civil case that was brought by E. Jean Carroll. They found that he should pay around $5 million, $3 million for defamation and $2 million for the civil battery charge. President Trump, who didn't attend the trial, and I'll get to that, actually addressed that in the CNN town hall last night.
What's happening is they're doing this for election interference. This woman, I don't know her. I never met her. I have no idea who she is. I had a picture taken years ago with her and her husband, nice guy, John Johnson. He was a newscaster, a very nice man. She called him an ape. Happens to be African-American. Called him an ape. The judge wouldn't allow us to put that in.
Well, let's break this down a little bit. In 2019, Carrol accused Trump in her new book of raping her in a dressing room of Bergdorf Goodman in 1996. Well, she thinks it was 1996. She's not sure. And she made no police report. It might have been possible for Trump to clear himself with an alibi if she just remembered the date. She couldn't even remember the year. And her confidants apparently didn't know either. As Alan Dershowitz said, quote, "These cases should never have been allowed to be brought. The historical purpose of a statute of limitations is to make sure you don't have to stand trial for something that occurred 25 years ago. In this case, even more than that. How do you remember things? How do you know where you were? Maybe he was in Europe at the time. She hasn't even given the dates and the times of the year. It's a case that normally would be thrown out. But again, it's Donald Trump. He's afraid this will hurt Trump with independents who will think where there's smoke, there's fire. But sometimes, he said, where there's smoke, there's arson. If you're not convinced it's all political, here's the New York Post. It says, watchers in the court gallery cried tears of joy when the verdict finding Trump liable for sexual abuse was read out. It's part of the death by 1,000-cut strategy being used by Trump's adversaries. Polls now, for what polls now are worth, show Trump easily out front for the GOP nomination and even easily ahead of President Biden in a head-to-head contest. This relentless lawfare against Trump will continue until we're all just sick of it, which is the whole idea. Trump's enemies hope that we grow weary of the constant fight and decide that he should just stay in Mar-a-Lago if he's not in pretrial detention. They might be misreading his supporters, though. After the Mar-a-Lago raid and the indictment of Trump in Manhattan, this appears to be one more Banana Republic-style maneuver to interfere with the 2024 election. just as there have been attempts in 2016, 2020, and 2022. If Trump can stand up to it, so can we. Who else is better equipped and more motivated to finally drain the swamp good and dry? I understand why Trump might not have wanted to participate in that trial from Miss Carrol, but his no-show may have sent the wrong message. It seems he was found liable largely by default. Here's what Alan Dershowitz said about that decision while on Newsmax.
He doesn't testify and doesn't appear in court. All they have is the prosecution's case with some cross-examination. That is the plaintiff's case with some cross-examination. I don't see how he expects to win that way. I think his only hope is if he were to be able to persuade a jury, A, that he didn't do it, and B, on the defamation matter, that even if he did do it, he didn't remember it when he accused her.
A better idea might have been to show up with full motorcade and make New York City pay millions for all the security and traffic rerouting. He didn't have to testify, but just to be there would have said plenty. President Trump was not found liable of rape, though Carrol had claimed he raped her, so they must have doubted her testimony about it. Now, it really doesn't make sense. If she was lying about that, how could they believe the rest of it? As his attorney, Takapina, said after the trials, strange verdict. It was a rape case all along, and the jury rejected that. Of course, being a civil trial, the plaintiff doesn't have to prove liability beyond a reasonable doubt, like in a criminal case. Just preponderance of the evidence is all that is necessary. The original 2019 suit was just for defamation when Trump quipped, "She's not my type," after she publicly claimed he raped her. So why did this case even get to court? As explained in the Epoch Times, in 2022, the New York State Legislature passed the Adult Survivor Act, which amended state law to give victims of certain sexual offenses a one-year window beginning on November the 24th of 2023 to file a civil lawsuit against alleged offenders. Carroll filed a second lawsuit on November 24th, 2022, under this act, which went on to trial and ultimately resulted in Tuesday's verdict. Finally, and perhaps most importantly, we found quite a story from Byron York at the Washington Examiner, written right before jury selection about the origin of Carroll's defamation lawsuit. He says that it arose in a conversation at a party at the home of writer Molly Jong-Fast, held in honor of Trump hater Kathy Griffin. Another Trump hater, George Conway, Kellyanne's ex, came up with the idea. Tech billionaire and also Trump hater Reid Hoffman bankrolled her case. York says this case was pushed forward by a group of politically motivated resistance figures who for years have been trying to defeat Trump in any way they can. I have a feeling he's not going to go down that easy. Well, thanks for watching. Now, if you enjoyed this video, I hope you'll consider subscribing to the channel. And when you do, click the notification bell below and leave a like. By the way, be sure to tune in to the live stream tomorrow, May the 12th at 2:30 Eastern, 1:30 Central, and 11:30 Pacific, so I can answer all your very just probing questions. And if you want more of my news analysis and commentary, sign up for my newsletter at MikeHuckabee.com. Comes to your email inbox twice a day, and it's completely free. That's going to do it for this edition of The Breakdown. I'm Mike Huckabee.